Hey, Big Brother fans, if you love love like I do, then chances are you probably wanted Matt, today's guest, to be in a showmance with Mackenzie. Matt, welcome.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you guys for being here. Man, I just wanted to say, Julie, just if you walk away with any encouragement today, like right up here at the top, even in my whole Big Brother experience, if you did not do this podcast, I 100% would not have gone on the show. 100%, because I'm a Christian. I'm sold out on following Jesus with my life. And we can talk about it a little bit more, but I actually used to work for a church for about 4 years and a nonprofit ministry that poured into high schoolers. And I was really nervous about going on the show. I've never been to California or LA or Hollywood at all. So I was very nervous and afraid. And, even with a lot of my mentors that I process with, just talking about what could happen and how things could get spun and how I'm going to represent myself and my family and my values. The thing that gave me a lot of encouragement was to go to your page and to watch God 101 and know that if Julie Chen Moonves, the host of this show, is sold out on following Jesus, then I think it's worth me taking a risk. So first off, I just want to say thank you, because I would not have taken the opportunity with Big Brother season 26 if it wasn't for God 101. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you for sharing that. Since you're a Christian, so we got to give the glory to God, because he knew.
Absolutely. He knew. Yeah. And my whole story of getting on, I mean, it is like so far beyond me, so I'm sitting here thankful today.
Well, let's talk about that. Let me go back to how and when did you become a Christian?
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about my story, is my freshman year of high school. So end of middle school, my parents made the decision to put me into a private Christian school against my own will. And I was very frustrated about that. I had a great friend group when I was going into middle school. My parents decided to put me in a private Christian school. And so
why?
Yes.
What was your friend group like? Be honest, Matt.
My friend group really wasn't bad, and obviously it was a lot of different families for different walks of life. But my dad was actually saved at a Billy Graham tent revival in the 50s and 60s. And so ever since that, he's been sold out on following Jesus. And that's always how he raised our family. The one rule in our house, my parents gave me a lot of freedom growing up, was that I could not miss church on Sunday. And so I've gone to church probably most Sundays throughout my life, so that's a huge value in our family. My dad decided to put me into a private Christian school to be raised up in those values and those morals. And again, it was against my own will. I was very upset about it. But around my freshman year, I started to realize that weird enough, it started to feel like the people that were making my life the most difficult were Christians. The people that gossiped about me the most, that made fun of me the most, that, had something to say about me that was negative, that didn't want to see me succeed. I turned around at my private Christian school and I started to realize, I felt like those were the people that were idolized for their faith. And so at a young age, I made a decision. I was like, I don't want anything to do with that. I want to be the driver of my own life, the driver of my own story, and I don't want anything to do with it. So going into my freshman year of high school, I totally abandoned my faith at the time. And I took reins of my own life. I started to make decisions that I thought were best for me. And really quickly, I realized I'm a really bad driver of my life. And when I take the steering wheel and I choose what I think is best for me, a lot of the things that I do think are best for me are not what's ultimately best for me. And so really quickly, at that year of my freshman year of high school, I had a 2.1 GPA. I was hanging out with people way older than me at the public schools nearby. I had no business hanging out with, partying, drinking, smoking, the whole 9 yards. And essentially I was getting kicked out of class every day. I'd quit playing football. And my principal calls me in after I got kicked out of class one day, and which was, when sat in his office. It was a place I spent a lot of time. And he basically says, Matt, you're putting me in a corner where I have to make a decision about you continue to attend the school. And he was like, it's based off your own decisions. It's not off of anything that we've done. It's what you've done to yourself. And then he pauses and he says, but I think you have too much potential to let you go that easily. And so he goes, here's what you're going to do. You're going to start showing up here every morning at 6:30, and you're going to start reading the Bible. And I was like, and he was like, if that doesn't work, then I've got nothing for you, and I will wish you luck on whatever's next for you. And so I was pretty much like, well, I mean, those are my options, right? So I started meeting with him every morning at 6:30. I started reading the Bible, and it absolutely changed my life. It changed everything. And so, long story short, I ended up giving my life to Jesus. Fast forward to my senior year, I helped start programs that poured into younger students at our school. I was the captain of the football team for the next 3 years. I led a Bible study of middle school guys up until 6th grade to 8th grade for 3 years. We met every Wednesday morning at Chick-fil-A to do Bible study together with 15 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. I was a part of a program that went to the lower school students at our school as the football player and just hyped them up to come to the game. Mentored a lot of younger students, and then, went off to college and just kind of felt like I wanted to give back to the kid who was like me, that was struggling with what they saw in the mirror, that thought they knew what was best for themselves, that hated their situation, that didn't love where they were. And somebody had stepped into my story, and I just felt this conviction that I wanted to be that person for somebody. And, the money and career will come, I'll figure that out on the back end. But I ran from it for a little while. I didn't want to be broke. I was like, maybe I'll go get a good job and try to, make money, but nothing just settled in my heart and my soul. And so I graduated college in 2 years and decided to go to seminary. And so I actually ended up getting my master's degree in theology and Christian leadership from Dallas Theological Seminary, and then graduated college in 2 years so I could go to seminary. And then really quickly, I entered into a program through a large church organization here and worked part-time with their high school environment, and they helped pay for my seminary. And then that was a 2-year program. At the 1 year point, halfway point of that 2-year program, they offered me a full-time position to lead one of their high school environments. I was the youngest director they had ever hired in their organization's history, and I got to lead for 4 years. And so that was a little bit of my story. I ended up leaving a year later, and then so that was 2022. Worked in corporate for 2023, left that job. 2 weeks later, I'm on Big Brother.
Wow, what a story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I had no idea.
Yeah, crazy journey. And I mean, I never could have drew it up for myself. Like I was saying, it's just been God's grace and his plan, and I'm thankful for it.
What happened to, let's just be honest, some people who call themselves Christians are not always the deepest reflection of Christ.
Absolutely.
Because you just said, at this Christian school, there were people who call themselves Christians who were gossiping about you and not being kind. What happened to those kids?
I don't know. I think for the most part, when I decided to change my life, I lost a lot of those friends, obviously. And so things started to change, and I started to make different decisions. I wasn't going to the parties anymore. I was trying to choose what the direction that I thought Jesus lived his life and take a chance. I was a young kid, and I was like, I think if I got to the end of my life and never navigated faith in Jesus, that I would look back and regret it. And I had heard a mentor in my life say, hey, if I get to the end of my life and realize that another faith, characteristic or another faith worldview turned out to be true, and me following Jesus ended up not to be true, he goes, I would regret nothing, because it was the opportunity it gave me to be a better husband and be a better father and be a better neighbor and to be a better citizen. I would regret nothing. And even as a young man at the time, I thought to myself, what do I value in life, and how do I want to live, and who do I want to be? Well, I want to be the best father to my kids that I can be one day. I want to be the best husband to my wife that I can be one day. And if that's what he's saying, then it's worth taking a chance on. So yeah, I don't really know where everybody else ended up, but I ended up here, and I ended up here not because Matt Hardeman is so awesome and great and amazing. It's because I have just tried to be faithful with what's put in front of me, and to withhold my integrity throughout it all, to try to look like Jesus through every bit of it. And you know, it's ups and downs, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
Mackenzie in the house is a fellow Christian.
Yeah.
Do you think, we're coming up on, we have less than 5 minutes. Do you think had you stayed in the house, you and she would have become romantically involved, or were you just laser focused on the game and you didn't want any of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, if I'm being honest. I mean, Mackenzie's amazing. She has everything that I feel like I've been looking for. But, you know, we're going to need more time to flesh it out. I'm super excited to meet up with her after this and continue the narrative. You know, if I knew the end of every story, it would take away from the beauty of the story. And right now, Ken's and I are in chapter 1, and I don't know what 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 is going to tell, but yeah, she's a fellow Christian. I think that's what created with us a lot of trust with each other off the bat. But yeah, she has a lot of the characteristics I'm looking for. I'm definitely interested in continuing to pursue it. We only had 10 short days together, but it's a long 10 days, right? And she was my bunkmate. I didn't sleep most nights because we'd stayed up and just couldn't stop talking. But I definitely think something could have developed there. Something definitely still can. But right now, I feel like my role to best support her is just to cheer her on as she's continuing on in the game. And I'll be waiting to figure it out when she gets out.
Clearly, you were rooting for her to win this. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No secret. Definitely rooting for her to win it.
And what do you think of Tucker right now?
Oh, man. Tucker is one of the most unique people in real life that I have ever had the opportunity to meet. His game is so crazy. As I'm watching it, I wish I was in the house to create like a, hey, man, if you have a competitive threat, would you be playing the same way? Who knows? But I love Tucker. I love the opportunity to get to know him. His game is so fun to watch from a viewer's perspective now, but great guy and fun to watch.
Who should Mackenzie align herself with to win the whole thing?
I think right now, anybody who will give her anything. You know, I'm sitting watching live feeds and I'm like, Mackenzie, just pick somebody and ride, you know, because I you know, it's hard to watch. Like, I think some people are like, I don't know how I feel about her. I don't know if I trust her. And obviously I'm sitting here as her being like my best friend in the house. And I'm like, Mackenzie is amazing. She's literally amazing. And so I think she'd be a strong ally. She's a badass. She's a competitor. I want her to go far. So I think she should just align with anybody that's willing to give her something.
In the final minute, I see that the Big Brother community has embraced you, because I saw that you and Matt, last year's runner-up, reminder, blonde hair, deaf, swimmer, the other Matt. So what has that been like?
Yeah, it's been amazing. You know, the Big Brother community has been great, so kind. Me and Matt got to spend a couple of days together. I was with Tyler Crispin, you know, on his podcast earlier last week. So there's only select people who truly understand what the Big Brother experience is like. And I was only on for a short amount of time. So it kind of, my brain as a defense mechanism was like, hey, it didn't happen, you know? But now, as I'm processing with a lot of the BB community, it helps. And it helps to be thankful. It helps to take the lessons and learn from it. So Matt is like, and Tyler are truly like lifelong friends. They've been so encouraging to me. I could not say thank you enough to the opportunity that I even get to be around people like that. So me and Matt are throwing around the idea of maybe starting a podcast together. But definitely I'll go see him in Houston. I think he's also rooting for the Eminem MJ showmance because she's also from Houston. So he's like, you could just come and hang out with me. So I'm super thankful to have met really, really good friends, and it truly means the world.
Well, God has a plan. You know that. And I cannot wait to watch what he has planned for you. And you growing stronger and stronger every year in Christ.
Absolutely.
Matt, Godspeed and God bless you.
Godspeed. Love one another. Thank you, Julie, for all that you do.